You
Good
weren't recording
evening,
any of
ladies and
that,
gentlemen.
were you? Oh
Welcome
my
to the Say Report.
God,
I'm your
yes.
host, Devon Decker. And
Yes.
joining me over there, the guy who just realized we weren't recording any of that, and I made him sing, Sejohn Sarowick.
Oh God. Hey man, what's going
I'm
on?
very negative tonight. I wish
Oh,
I'd
me?
seen your little post up at 7:33 saying you were ready when I was, because I tried to fill my time. Because usually we record at 8 o'clock on Monday, behind the fucking curtain. I don't give a shit. I am pissed
Ooh,
off
damn.
right now.
Okay.
And it was just going to be like a little thing. I was going to start off the episode with like one little negative thing, but then that negative thing, like trying to keep it in my head, apparently turned everything on its fucking head. So you're going to hear, in the beginning of this episode, the plight of the hour before we recorded the Say Report. Because we tried to move it up to 7 o'clock, and then
Yep.
Steve was like, let's push it to 8. And I'm like, okay, all right. There's that thing I want to talk about. I need to remember it. And that thing that I want to talk about, the first topic of tonight's episode, called Overnumerousness, which is clever, if you get it, is Sejohn. Do you remember what happened to me and my family 3 weeks ago on a Friday?
You mean the storm and the? No, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. The storm. There was a
Yeah, okay, the
there was
storm
a
that came through.
horrific nor'easter. It was the first nor'easter, aka best nor'easter. And we didn't have power for 46 hours, something like that. Maybe it was 38. I ended up having to run
Yeah.
a Zelda match at my work computer station.
Yes. I do remember all of this now. Yes.
Yes, okay, good. And if you haven't been listening, you're caught up too. That night, because we had no power, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did not record. And it was episode 11 of season 5, which has some problems. I don't know if you're watching yet, but it's been... I'm excited for episode 11 because the first 10 episodes did that thing that every show does when it's ready to die. Sejohn, do you want to take a guess?
Killed off its main character. No, what are we doing?
It went to space!
Oh.
They're Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're in space!
Yeah.
And the only episode that was any good was the one that brought back Hunter, and that was set in modern times and not in fucking space. So maybe learn from it. But in the 10th episode, spoilers for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, if you can get through it, the fact that me and my father watched these 10 episodes together boggles my fucking mind because it was a goddamn chore. We watched episode 6, I'm not kidding, 6 times. Because we kept falling asleep. Because literally it was boring. And like, that should have been the fun one. That should have been the fun episode where the guys pretend to be a bounty hunter and Inhumans are fighting for the amusement of a bunch of aristocrats in space. Nope. Fucking Snoozeville. Anywho, Jesus. Woo! This is why I'm not negative, because if I were negative, I could tear down the entire fucking world. And
we
I
all
would
know
not
that you
build
never go
anything
negative.
else.
Yeah, no, we know you never go negative. That's true.
So there was a storm, right? And we couldn't tape Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 11. Guess what?
So are you saying the storm was a blessing?
No,
Is that
no,
what-
no, no, no,
Oh.
no, because I really want to see who got home or stuff like that. Here's what upsets me right now. I am a Verizon Fios house, and I bet saying this into something that is being transmitted to the internet, they're going to cut my internet in 3, 2, 1.
They're going to find you. Oh, he's gone. Yep, nope, Files got him, folks. Unfortunately, he's another victim of the Verizon Borgs.
But yes, but all of the episodes of this season, Verizon Fios has done this really fun thing, fun in huge quotation marks, and with all the sarcasm dripping off of it.
Where they turn you all into Borgs.
Yeah,
right?
well, in addition to the Borg thing that season is all about,
I love that episode of Star Trek Next Generation.
they have started charging for on-demand episodes.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. As in, like, you're paying for the channel, but now you have to also then pay to watch the episode you missed?
Pay an episode that you missed, right?
Oh,
now usually
that's
like
not the point of on-demand,
no,
folks.
that's really not the point of on-demand. And you can't fast forward, right? You need to watch the advertising. There's a lot of issues with on-demand. If you're a person who watches on-demand, there's a very specific reason why you do that, and you know the little intricacies of it. So because we don't have episode 11, we're like, we'll just watch it on demand. Now, usually the last 5 episodes to air are free, but if you want to go back further than that, you can buy them for like $12 an episode, or you can rent them for $3.99.
I guess there's plenty of shows out there though that'll put the whole, or at least used to put the whole season up.
Yeah, this is a new thing that my father and I have begun to notice.
Ugh, gross.
But it is gross, right? Here's the grossest thing. Episode 10 is free. Episode 12 is free. 13 free. 14 free. They're charging for episode 11. And do you know why, Sejohn?
Why?
It's probably because a lot of people didn't have power and they want to see that episode.
No,
they're holding it
possibly.
fucking ransom. Dude, why every other show that does this are the last 5 episodes to air free before you start having to pay, except for the one episode where most of the eastern part of this country was shut the fuck down.
That's fucking terrible. That is just upsetting. There's not even anything we could mine for comedy out of that, man. Why did you do that? Why did you bring this to my feet? This is upsetting.
I needed to because it has cost money literally every week. Like since we caught up, we've been trying to watch that episode, right? And it's been on and it's been pay. So we're like, okay, well maybe this thing that ABC is doing now is that the most recent episode costs money too, and then once it shuffles ahead, the next one costs money and it becomes free, right? Because we tried to watch it when 10 was free and then that one was charged, and we're like, oh, that's weird, but maybe that's how they're doing it, right? It's still fucking exploitive and bullshit, but what you gonna do? And then we watched as 12 came, and we're like, that's weird that 11 still is pay, but 12 is free. And now that like we've gotten to that 5 point where there are 5 official episodes released and only one of them costs money, our worst fear has been confirmed.
Man, that is just upsetting. I mean, oh god, I don't even want to get into like the possibilities of there's no forgiving that.
No,
just plain and simple. Fios, oh god, man, that's disgusting. Gotta get on that Google Fiber, man. Gotta get on that Google Fiber. That's what the world needs to do. Google will save us all.
Yes, that's as long as Jeff Bezos doesn't do it. I cannot wait until the rock and roller fucking cola wars turn into Amazon versus Google. I mean, it's already there, right? Alexa is fucking laughing at you like the goddamn Joker because Jeff Bezos has decided which side he's on.
Yeah. By the way, creepiest fucking thing in the world. Still really want an Alexa.
Yeah, because you want to watch the world burn.
Hey, man. No, I already know it's going to burn. I want to make sure that our robot overlords know where my fealty lies.
I want to make sure I get the joke. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so that is stewing and ruminating in my mind as like, because I wanted to just say it at the beginning of the episode and then we move past it, but then we have a delay. We put a delay to when we usually start recording, but I'm like, but I don't want to forget about this because I wanted to see your reaction to it, and your reaction was exactly what was expected because it's fucking
throwing up into a bucket over here.
Yeah. It's gross. It's disgusting.
It's the grossest thing in the world. Like, I mean, like I'm the kid that they used to pay to eat like ketchup mixed with Pepsi and mayonnaise in the cafeteria, and this is the grossest thing I think I've encountered in my life.
All right. So, but I had to ruminate on that. I had to stew on that. So I put on Mike Tyson Mysteries, which was the best episode of Mike Tyson's Mysteries. I bet you haven't watched last night's Mike Tyson's Mysteries yet.
Oh, I have not. I don't get caught up on that show. That's the kind of show that I let find me.
Let me tell you.
Tyson's Mysteries, though.
Season 2, episode 14 of Mike Tyson's Mystery is one of those quintessential Adult Swim episodes. Like straight up Stroker and Hoop episode 13 type territory.
Okay, all right.
Like, so
very nice.
Look out for that. If you're not like Sejohn and you can watch it right now, go watch it. It's excellent. It was fantastic. So that was like this little glimmer of hope. And then I look and I see that it's 7:30 and I'm like, ooh, Jeopardy will be starting. But I don't want to watch Jeopardy yet. Right? I want to let 11 minutes go by so that then I can bust through it on my DVR because I am a fucking slave to Verizon still. I'll bust through it on my DVR and life will be good. So I decided, and Sejohn, this might be fun time for you. to jump into Super Mario Odyssey because I have not done anything to gain more moons since we established
I
our
am at
challenge.
725. Well, 724. I've got 725. I just haven't turned in whatever last few that I need to get to that number. But 725. I have been collecting purple coins, purple coins slowly. But no, quick update on that. I guess if we want to do this really quick, 725, and I have all the purple coins in like the first four kingdoms.
635, and I'm probably not going to continue. And here's why. No, I mean, I'm still going to try, but I sat down, and for the first time, literally ever, I played Mario Odyssey in handheld mode. Because I've never done that before.
Okay,
I've only ever played it on a TV with my Pro Controller. I don't know how people do it. I honestly don't know how people do it.
No, I don't either, bro.
I'm like, this is too much for my eyes to take in. This is not fun. I don't know how you play that game in handheld mode.
My biggest thing is the controls, because there's too many motion controls involved, and you're just whipping the screen out from in front of your face every 2 minutes.
Yeah. It was like the worst experience. And I could have forgiven it, right? Because I'm going to be able to plug it back in eventually. But it finally updated, right? An update released for Super Mario Odyssey, I want to say like 3 days after it released. And I was very diligent in like, don't update, don't update, don't update. And then Dale borrowed Odyssey. She played it a little bit. And then I took it back so that we could go on this stupid challenge together. And I was not diligent, and now I am at the highest level of Super Mario Odyssey. So fucking Luigi's there, like, hey, I'm looking for balloons. And I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking do that, Luigi.
Oh, gotta go find them balloons, though, Luigi. You gotta help brother out. He needs them balloons. Obviously, it's how he floats from place to place.
Stop. He can get into goddamn Odyssey, which is the spaceship's name, right?
You know Mario will not. Mario will never let him in the Odyssey. He won't let his dirty feet up in that place.
Dude,
he's filling it with all the souvenirs. No.
Mario, throw his hat on Luigi, and then that's how. Oh, you want to go for the ride, brother? Hacha!
No, that can't be a thing that's allowed, man. Is it? No,
I don't think it is. I don't know. I just saw that it's like, your game's been updated. Here's this new stuff. And I'm like, no, why? So
this
like
is really ruining the game that much for you.
You know what it bothers me? It comes down to 2011, 2012. When did Arkham City come out? That's going to be the answer to that question. I believe it was 2012.
Okay.
Let's go with 2012. It sounds right? It might have been 11. It was 2011. Let's just say 2011. Dark Souls came out, and I was super excited for Dark Souls. And I had my character built, and I had my plan on how I was going to play through Dark Souls, and I was very excited for it. And then Arkham City came out, and I'm like, you know what? I can wait for Arkham City. I think I've told this story before, but I'm like, I can wait for Arkham City. I don't need to play it right away. And then reading online something not related to Arkham City, like the furthest possible fucking thing from Arkham City, had a spoiler for Arkham City in it? And I'm like, what? Why? Why is the internet a bastard?
Why is the internet a terrible place?
So I had said to my mom, I don't really care about this game. I want to play it, but I don't need it right now. So she went out and she bought it for me from Best Buy so that I'd have the Robin pack and all that. And she's like, and it was a Christmas present. Like I understood. She's like, if you were going to buy it, where would you buy it from? And I'm like, Best Buy, so that I have.
Which was a fair question with Arkham City, to be fair.
It was the right thing, and she did the right thing. But then, like, I got home and I dug out $65, and I gave it to her, and I'm like, I'm gonna need that present from you, because I'm gonna need to play this game, because I'm not gonna have shit fucking ruined in a video game by stuff not related to said video game. So I put Dark Souls on the back burner while I completed Arkham City, and kudos to me, right? Because I'm patting myself on the back right now because I'm being a negative fucking asshole. This is what it looks like. I cleared that game in about a week, right? Like a week went by and I had full cleared Arkham City as far as I was going to. Because I don't know about you, but the like scenario Riddler missions are like a step too fucking far for me.
Okay.
I don't like. I got gold on all the like VR missions, and that was bullshit. And then it's like, hey, remember those things that you worked real hard to get gold on? Do them again, but with arbitrary bullshit attached. Batman walks like he's in slime. Why? Why does he do that? What could the Riddler have possibly done? He's the fucking Riddler. He's not Mr. Mixelpitz.
Mr. Mixelpix. I'm holding my tongue right now because anybody that knows me, including you, knows my feelings on the Arkham series and specifically Arkham City. So I know where this story is going, not only because I think you've told it on this podcast before, but I know where this story is going, and so I'm holding my tongue.
Oh, well, it's actually not about Arkham City. It's about Dark Souls. And
Okay.
it's about the fact that I went back into Dark Souls, and when I went to load it up, it was like, there's been an update. In order to go online, you must download this update. If you don't download the update, you can play offline. Now, the whole thing about Dark Souls, the reason you buy a Dark Souls game the day that it comes out is because that's when everybody is playing and everybody is on an even fucking footing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So in addition to it being the like busiest the servers are ever going to be,
Right.
you don't have those people who have figured out, oh, if I get this sword and just hit R1 a bunch, I'm going to kill everybody.
Yeah, you don't have the community ruining it for you because you're all figuring it out together. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's the thing. But I specifically put that on hold so that Arkham City wouldn't be ruined for me. And then I go back to Dark Souls and I'm like, oh, okay. And this is really a moment that started a real line in the sand for Devon Decker. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I drew a line in the sand, and this was the moment, because rather than download the update, right? Because once you download an update, you're pretty much fucked in terms of modern gaming consoles. It's very difficult to go back to before you had that update.
Oh yeah, no, you can't. No, you can very rarely go back to vanilla anything nowadays. The second that the day one patch comes out, I mean, and there are reasons for that. Like before we get too deep into Devon's like insanity here with patches, DLC, and updates and all of this, I should point out, I recognize the need for day one stuff, though. You know, like there are some games that come out unplayable, which they shouldn't, but that's a deeper
much
problem.
deeper
deeper
discussion
problem.
to have after Ready Player One comes out, because we need to let it cool down from what the siblings did on their show.
Yeah. But anyway, so Dark Souls updates.
So Dark Souls updates. So I'm like, okay, instead of just downloading this, I want to see what the update did. Now, Dark Souls' whole marketing campaign was prepare to die, right? It's Nintendo hard. You're going to have a fucking challenge with this game. What that patch did, what that update did, was make the game easier. Like 1,000%.
In the business, we call that nerfing.
Is it nerfing in like player versus environment games that are supposed to be difficult? Like, and this is a problem that I still deal with in like the Link to the Past community now, is when people are like, this is too hard. And it's like, yes, it is too hard, but you knew that going in. You knew that you weren't going to have bombs the whole game. Why are you complaining about not having bombs? You didn't have to play this game.
I think in the spirit of the term nerfing, it was essentially like they gave all of the enemies just nerf weapons when they were coming at you.
Yeah,
so I think that the term applies.
I suppose it does make sense. But the one that specifically sticks to me, and it's because it's one that ruined the thematic environment of the game. I'm such a fucking idiot and a loser, because I heard the words that just came out of my mouth.
Do you listen to the words we say every week? I'm not sure. Like, look, anybody that's turned it off by now because they weren't into it, like, we're 20 minutes in, people.
You're right. Because, like, you would fight skeletons, and they wouldn't give you souls, and you fought a lot of skeletons in the game. So people, like, went to message boards and were like, it's not fair that I fight skeletons and I don't get souls from them.
But skeletons ain't got no souls.
Yeah, exactly. And then there were ghosts that you fought, and they didn't give souls.
Oh,
now that one,
ghosts
are
souls, though.
exclusively souls. So, you know.
Ghosts are only souls. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it was like I understood it, but it's like, but I kind of get where they're coming from. You're not gaining souls from things that are undead. To
Right. Oh,
say
yeah.
you're
Okay.
gaining souls from like things that you're taking the life from.
I guess like I guess a ghost is a soul. So in a way, if you destroy that, you have destroyed the soul. You
You're
can't
not
collect it.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So I mean, like there clearly was thought that was put into it, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, we forgot to code the ghosts and skeletons to give souls.
No, they drew a line. They were like these things are not alive and they're going to be the fodder, so you don't get souls from these things that are coming at you a million times. Like I totally get that.
Exactly. Because you could just sit and you could mob up on them. In
Yeah, man.
fact, there's a place,
You
there's
we
still
call
a
that.
place you could do that because, and they admitted this, the baby skeletons before, like, the skeleton boss, they gave souls. And that was an accident because in the table of the programming, they were matched up with something else that gave souls. So not only did these things that like literally died in one hit regardless of your level gave souls, they were there just to be a minor annoyance and they would just keep coming and coming. But you sat in that room for like 20 minutes, end the game, right? You win
Now,
the
the two
game.
terms we're going to teach you now are called camping and farming. Staying in the room and waiting for these things to come at you, that's referred to as camping. But when you choose to do this in any situation that lets you gain anything, gold or XP, that's referred to as farming.
You're not telling me these things, right? Are we this is for the
The Say report is
audience?
the Say report is presented by the letter F, as in FU, which is basically all Dark Souls ever does to me. So,
Right. No, and that's the thing. It's like, it bums me out because they're doing the re-release of Dark Souls on PS4. I'm super
mhm.
excited, but I know there's no way I could ever convince you to play with me, and that bums me out. But
Bloodborne
like
is free right now. I'm seriously considering Bloodborne.
Blood, oh dude, I'll do Bloodborne with you. It is free, so you wouldn't have to pay money. But Bloodborne, Bloodborne's a fucking asshole. I loved that game, but it's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. See now what now you say these things. Ugh. Anyway, yes. So
Yeah.
so so
So
they nerfed Dark Souls on you, and you couldn't do your farming anymore,
no,
or
no, no.
you
I didn't
had
want to do that. Like
you
it's
didn't
nothing
want
that
to. Oh,
I had ever planned on doing or anything like that. But like I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to update my game to make it easier. I want the experience I would have had if I'd been playing it instead of Arkham City. And you know, that's right. So I played and beat the game, not doing any of the co-op stuff because I refused to upgrade. And I had a good time with it. And that was when I realized that, like, unless I have to, I'm going to finish the game before installing any updates.
yeah.
And arguably I did that with Odyssey, so I shouldn't be upset. But it does still bother me that, you know, that had to happen.
Yeah, I get it. Look, and we have talked about at length our feelings on like Odyssey and stuff like that. So it's also not surprising to me, and I'm sure not to people listening who've been listening for a while, that it's just not something that's really grabbing you, especially with the updates that you clearly are not for you, right? But man, I gotta tell you, all of this shit you're talking about works for me so well.
And that's good. And I'm happy that it does. And I know it probably works for like everybody out there, but it's just one of these. All right, okay, so last thing, because I want to get to positivity. Fucking
hmm
Jeopardy tonight, the double Jeopardy board was fucking like another language.
Oh
Like I just
God.
had no clue what was going on. Like it hurt my brain a little bit. And
Oh.
then after like the hardest fucking Jeopardy double Jeopardy board I'd ever seen, right? I was about to call you Jeff, but you're Sejohn. Sejohn, I'm just going to give you the category for Final Jeopardy, and I
Okay, hit
want
me.
you to give me the first answer or question that pops into your head. All right? And our Final Jeopardy category is medieval literature.
Oh God, I don't know. What is the Canterbury Tales, I
There you
guess.
go, Sejohn. You just got Final Jeopardy right. Because
Chanticleer.
because you say medieval literature, what is the first thing that pops into your fucking head but the Canterbury Tales?
Yeah, rockadoodle doo and shit. Yeah, man, I'm with you.
Stop saying rockadoodle. I love
What?
rockadoodle. But yeah, and it's just like, and my mother and I both go at the same time. What is the Canterbury Tales? Because we like to play that game where based only on the what Final Jeopardy's category is, if we can get it right, and then it's like, well, that wasn't even fun. Like, because what other option was there? And then what did the people put down Beowulf? And I'm like, that's pre-medieval, lady. Like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, what else could it be?
That's almost pre-language. Like, Beowulf is a step removed from like caveman drawings.
And the next one, I'm like, what else would have been? Everyman? Like, that's the only medieval literature I can think of. Maybe what, Faust, right? Dr. Faustus and
no, man, thing? that's really not medieval though.
No, that's right. That's further down. Like, you think medieval the Germans, literature, man. It is 100% Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Because there were like 27 of them. They were serialized.
There's that nun that always gets forgotten. The first female writer, and in fact, the very first named writer of all time, is actually medieval. And God, if I could remember her name, where she wrote this whole play about, she was a nun and she wrote about like dreams and shit. And like,
Life is a Dream.
Maybe that, but yeah, that's Everyman is just Everyman doesn't even get credited with a writer because Everyman is just the Bible, man. Like that's all it is.
That's very true. You're very correct. But yeah, so that was lame. And I know this is a pet peeve of mine and not a pet peeve of everybody. First of all, the returning champion had $0 going into Final Jeopardy, so he's gone. Right? Oh, returning champion just gone. Because that freaking double Jeopardy board was like freaking Double Dare 3000.
Were they putting? Do you think it was used to take this person out? Have they been around too long? Were they making fun of Alex Trebek's non-mustached face?
I didn't recognize him from any other shows, so I'm guessing he won on Friday, and it was a fluke. But then the other two people remaining were named Vicky and Johnny. Come on, you're adults. Victoria and John. Come on.
Unless you're in a musical, you don't get to go by Vicky and Johnny.
Yeah, right? No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but like, there's a time and a place to end with an E noise.
Was it like Vicky with a U, like or something like that? Like
no, it was Vicki. She was an older woman, and that's not a thing. But it's like, Vicky, at some point you should have moved past Vicky. You are not a voice input kid automaton. I'm so upset that I can't remember what Vicky stands for.
From Small Wonder? What are we doing?
Because it's voice. I identified kid identikit. Voice interface kid identikit. Wow. This is good. You made me happy. So here's the last thing, though. Then I swear I'll let you talk, Sejohn.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
We have a standee of Overwatch in our basement. Dale got it from her GameStop days, and I looked at it as like all of this negativity that just like surrounded me, and literally it surrounded me like a fucking cocoon. From 7 to 8 p.m. tonight, like just came in. Like, it was so bad that my parents were out shopping, and they came home and they saw me, and they're like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like real angry at the world. And as I was about to sit down, I noticed this Overwatch standee that is too large and is definitely just fucking trash. I don't know why we still have it. But I thank God. Literally, not God. I thank the fates. I think whatever you would think in this scenario, that Dale no longer works at GameStop. Because Dale working at GameStop bought modern video games into this house in a way that I had kind of escaped from it. Where, like, if I bought a new game, it is because I was interested in it. It caught my eye. No one else had influenced that decision in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, man. Well, and also your hobby hadn't become your job, right? At some point, like with this sort of stuff, with nerddom, and especially for a lot of us, like we get so invested in this stuff that it becomes like not fun anymore. Which is what it sounds like you're talking about. Like, and video games are supposed to be fun, bro. If you find yourself sitting down to play a game because you feel like you have to, not because you want to, like, we're not getting paid for this shit. Like, I love Saber Porters everywhere. But until you all start sending me money, I'm gonna just do what I want. Is that okay?
That's
Okay.
fine.
I'm glad.
I support
I'm
that.
glad we came to
I'm glad we came to
that.
that decision. That was a hard one. That was real touch
Yeah.
and go there for a minute.
We were worried. We were real worried what you were all gonna say. But yeah, man. I mean, like it's not your job to be playing these things, man. So if you're not feeling it, like move on.
Exactly,
I'm
which
all
is
for that.
why I'm so happy with like Link to the Past randomizer. And that is this thing that like every time I load one up, it is fun. I am having fun with it. And that is why I have embraced it so much. Because it's almost like shout out to Board with Friends. We haven't mentioned them in a minute. It's almost like a board game where like you know the rules of the game, but the outcome is going to be different every time you open the box. And I can't think of like, and I think that's why it really appeals to me is that like it's never going to overstay its welcome. And even though there are patches and stuff, because of the nature of the patches, just changing the logic of how to get from point A to point B, it actually makes it fun. Like now, the one that they just released a logic update to Link to the Past randomizer, and the overworld is full of value again, where like it used to just be dungeons. So you have to completely change the way that you play because you used to prioritize visiting dungeons and overworld only when you had to, and now you flipped it on its head, and I absolutely love it. Plus, let me tell you about the seed I played today. Pedestal had the boots, and the ice rod was in the lumberjack cave. So I had to pull the pedestal and then beat Aghanim in order to get the ice rod to finish the last dungeon, which was Turtle Rock.
Man,
It was excellent.
Someday we might actually have a fan or two out there that knows what we're talking about.
Oh, man. You know what? I know what I'm talking about. And I just got a shirt that says stream like no one's watching. So
There you go.
Because
I'm pretty sure that's talking about peeing, dude.
Yeah, right? No, it is, yeah. You have a stronger stream if you don't have I don't know, shy bladder joke. But also, last thing about that, I'm in that 2v2 competition right now. I am officially on the Loyola of the 2v2 Mystery Seed Randomizer tournament because we're in the Final Four, baby.
It's been controversy abound, and there's been nothing but struggle, but he's made it. This is awesome. I am super excited to see where you go with this one, man.
Yeah, I am. I don't know. It's super cool. Like even last night's one, it was a level 2 Enemizer, and Ganon's tower was just a fucking bear. That last room with the conveyor belts and the ice was like full of those big giant yellow spike balls. I died twice. I climbed all the way to the top of the tower and died 2 times in a row.
Oh, ouch.
And somehow our team still pulled it out to win. Like it was Chloe finished in like 2 hours. And then I'm like reaching the 2:30 mark and I'm like, I'm really pulling the team down. I'm sorry.
Hey man, well, okay.
It happens, right?
Yeah, man, it happens. I was gonna say there always has to be a piggy, but that was not the right reference to make.
Wow, really? Lord of the fucking Flies?
Yeah, no, that's why I stopped myself. It's like that's not what I want to say. Oh man, you
now have the floor. I have expelled all of my negativity. I think with your help, we were able to. What is a gin thing called? Still, we're able to distill it into some positivity and some laughs. So,
what is that gin thing called? A bathtub. You're talking about a bathtub there, son.
Still was what I wanted. I watched a lot of MASH.
Oh man. So where to start? I want to see how I can brighten your day. Well, you know what? Let's just make this an upward slope here for the rest of the show. I want to start off with a little bit of a coda on a conversation that we had last week. Devon doesn't know this yet, but we actually did hear back from a friend of ours that listens to the show about our discussion of Love, Simon, and I kind of wanted to bring that to the table, not as a make good in any way, because I feel like we did a really good conversation on that, and it's not like this person was reprimanding us in any way, but in fact actually just wanted to just throw their 2 cents into the ring. I just want to give a quick shout out to Dot. Hey, I know you're listening.
Thanks, Dot. I'm really glad I got to meet you that one time I was in Ohio.
Yeah, well, she listens. She's a listener. So she says really quickly. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a couple of things like this. Hasn't
filling.
seen the movie yet, so I need to. No, I want to make sure that I get the important parts here.
Mhm.
She also has not seen the movie yet, but she says based off of our discussion, it sounds to her like it's a lot of other. I want to use her words here: queer movies, regardless of intended audience, which I think is as a title for what this film is the perfect thing for what it was trying to be. She points out that these movies tend to have lots of tropes that do little to advance plot or character, awful character flaws that are intended to be endearing, but usually just come out as a jumbled message about morality. And this just happens to be a poorly adapted book on top of all of that. Although she points out she also hasn't read the book, but from what she understands from what we said and from what everybody else is saying, that's basically where it seems like this movie stands.
Well, I will, if I
So
can just jump in real quick. One
yeah,
thing that I have come across a lot, and this is what bothered me about Wrinkle in Time. And again, I haven't read what Love, Simon is based on, which is, I think, Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. If I want to name check the book, he had an older sister as well in the book,
mm,
and like older sibling dynamics are usually a huge part of frickin' YA novels.
yeah,
So, like,
that's
to take
true.
that out of an adaptation, I can only imagine how that would impact a story.
Yeah. Well, so she Dot goes on to talk a little bit about how she's a recent representational film that she has seen for the LGBTQ community is Carol, and she said that she loves that movie and she's seen that one about 35 times. And she said what's groundbreaking is that it's actually well done and well articulated on top of actually being a movie about like queer romance. Um, it's goddamn awful when it's supposed to be showing a healthy relationship though, and she points that out, and she says that it sounds a lot of like what's going on in Love, Simon is again just showing this queer character in a lot of unhealthy relationships, including the way that he eventually finds this person in the end. So it seems like it's just another instance of them trying to make a powerful film for a group, in this case the LGBTQ community, and it just not working. And I don't think that Dot would be upset if I were to point this out, but as a member of that community, she's like kind of sick of their shit, and sick of seeing people doing those kinds of those awful representations at the end of the day. And so, as much as it is trying to help, because we had landed on the idea that at least it's a step in the right direction, and she just wanted to point out that yeah, steps are great, but it's about time that we actually take a good like
It's time
solid
for a leap.
step. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong, and I wanted to point that out that like we did hear back from somebody after we said that last week, and I think it's important that that gets out there as well, because I mean, what are we? We're a couple of white straight dudes like talking over into our microphones about this stuff, and we had a feeling that movie was not doing great for a reason, and here we go. But yeah, I just wanted to jump back to that really quick because we had asked her that last week, and I also wanted everybody to know out there that we do actually really listen to you guys and to what other people have to say about this stuff, and we love it when we hear from people. So don't hesitate to talk to us more.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
will tell that makes me feel because again, like it's I don't know. I felt like I didn't have the right to say that stuff in some way, shape, or form. Like at any moment, it could be taken as me trying to be offensive or me just being myopic to
hmm
what that film was trying to be. So thank you, Dot. I really do appreciate that. That
yeah.
like it is missing the
Well, and
point,
it's
and it's another in a long line of films that do that.
yeah, and well, it's and it's interesting that you say that the idea of like feeling like whether or not we have the right to talk about this stuff because of who we are, and it's funny that we didn't feel any of this when we were talking about a film like Black Panther, which I mean, to say nothing is one of the most like representational films out there for a group that has not been represented well at all in the history of Hollywood, right? But like because we loved Black Panther so much, I don't think there was a moment of hesitation for us to talk about that. And I think it's interesting listening to people out there talking about that film right now, and I'm wondering when we're going to hear the inevitable backlash and the inevitable like pushback on some of the really good press that it's all been getting, because it has to come, right? I don't know, maybe that's just the cynical part of me that's like been way too into pop culture over the last 20 years, but it just seems like every time something swings really hard in one direction, there always has to be a movement in the other. And we haven't seen that yet with Black Panther. So I'm curious to know if and when it'll come and who it'll be, because those conversations are going to have to be very well constructed.
Yeah, I mean, there's that little bit of me, that hope that still exists inside of me, that this film is actually going to unify people, and we're
hmm
not going to, and we're going to take the messages that literally are on display in that film to
hmm
heart, and not be like, well, you don't get to feel that way about this film.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because once you start policing the way that people feel about a film that is supposed to be important like that,
Hmm.
that you've missed the point, and
Yeah.
you've undone all of the goodwill that that film has generated. But it's another interesting thing because it's a discussion that I've been having a lot lately because of films like Black Panther and Love, Simon and the upcoming Ready Player One, and that's when a film sets out to be like, we're going to be groundbreaking and we're going to push the limits forward, that's when I feel like it fails. Like,
Hmm.
I feel like Love, Simon, like, it was marketing itself as like, finally the movie that you need, and da 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 da. Black Panther was like, it's a Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, this is finally the representation for the African Americans in America that don't see themselves on screen.
Well, Devin, there's a saying in theater that says, "Show don't tell," and I think what you're talking about is a traditional show don't tell conversation. Like you're talking about a group of people making a movie, telling us that they're going to make a movie that's groundbreaking, and then they can never seem to pull it off, right? But you're right. Like Marvel, they didn't come out and be like, oh, look at what we're going to do. We're going to make this great, fantastic film. Now, they did come out over the years and be like, look, the reason that we haven't jumped on it is because we want to do it right. But that's, I think, more in defense than it is out there, like getting in front of it. And I think you're right. I think that rather than get out and tell everybody what a great movie they were going to make, is they just did it, man. They just made the right moves. They did all the stuff they needed to do behind the camera and just let it speak for itself, which, I mean, we could gush for an hour about another hour about that movie,
Yeah.
right? And talk about all the smart moves that Marvel's always made. But I mean, like, it's just it was a good move on their part, and they did good movie. They did good movie.
They did good movie. Did it win again this week?
No,
did it
no, it finally got toppled by Pacific Rim, man.
which was awesome, though. I gotta be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Well, no, man, and what's really funny about that is the only thing to topple Black Panther was another movie with a lead black character in it. I mean, you have John Boyega leading the charge in that one. So I mean, like, made by a Mexican filmmaker. I mean,
Well,
Guillermo del
no,
Toro-
I mean, Guillermo del
well, I
Toro
guess
didn't.
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't
He
make
just
this one,
produced
right?
it and worked on some of the
Created
designs.
by, you could argue created by at least.
Right. But that's why some people are like, I don't want to see it. Guillermo's not involved. And I'm like, why would that stop you from seeing it? Did you like Pacific Rim? Because it's probably going to be as good as Pacific Rim.
And I mean, like, a guy like Guillermo del Toro doesn't just hand off his intellectual property to just anybody, like, you have some faith there. I don't know, man. I am excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't have an opinion on Pacific Rim yet, other than excited, which is what I've been for a long time for that movie. And so, like, I mean, it's cool to see somebody else be able to step up, and I'm glad that it was another geeky movie that we can all get behind, and it wasn't some like God damn it, if Tyler Perry's Acrimony had come out and be the one to kill this thing, I don't know what I'd have to say about it,
I mean, it still would have been.
No, I know.
That's
what I'm saying is I don't know how I'd feel about that, because like
I do love Taraji P. Henson, but Acrimony it looks like such a mean movie.
You know what it does
is
it really looks like him.
is.
Right. It looks like him taking a real hard swing at movies like Double Indemnity and things like that, which I'm a fan of. Like, I'm all for doing that style of like Hitchcockian thriller, but like not like horrific, but just outright dark.
I think the problem for me was when he called it Acrimony. I'm just like, okay, so that's what the movie's gonna be, right?
I mean, that's what he does now. Is he just slaps a simple name on all it. Temptation, right? Wasn't that the last one? And like,
I don't remember the last
Murder
one. The last one that I
Foul
remember is
by
Boo
Tyler
a
Perry.
Medea Halloween 2.
Yeah,
Boo.
Fantastic.
Did you ever see Top 5?
No.
I
was
will
the one
recommend
with,
Top 5 all day. It was my number 9 movie the year
Chris
that it
Rock?
came out. Chris Rock, yeah.
Yeah,
2014, I believe. I love that movie. I love Top 5. I have a copy of Top 5 in my car at all times.
Just
because
in case,
it's
you
just
never know.
like, you never know, right? If we need to watch a movie, we watch Top 5. Because it is excellent. And it makes me so happy that a joke from that movie, that his movie that is like one of those big epic period pieces about slavery, loses to Boo a Medea Halloween. And like they owned it. The company that did Top 5 also works with Tyler Perry on the Medea movies, and they're like, can you do that? Are you like able to do that?
Oh
And
man.
not only did that one happen, but then a friggin' sequel happened. Like, that's the
Oh
world we
man.
live in. We are living in a parody of our former world right now. And it's sometimes you laugh, but most of the time it makes you want to fucking cry.
Yeah, well, that's why you laugh, man, so that
Yeah,
you
so
don't.
you don't. That's
Speaking of laughing, I want to raise your spirits, and I have decided that the only way I can do that is my newfound love. This isn't new, but my love of something. Devon, do you like a dirty joke, Devon?
I like a dirty joke now and then.
Yeah, yeah. How about a dirty
This
pun?
sounds so fucking canned.
You like a dirty pun? You like a dirty pun?
I'm okay with a dirty pun, as
Okay.
long as it's not a dirty pan.
Here's the thing. Oh God. Here's the thing. I love limericks, and I've decided I'm going to read you a few limericks because I have some questions about. Here's okay. So I have spent the last week. I've spent the last 2 months. I don't know why I said week. Living with my terrible, terrible decisions in terms of New Year's resolutions. As everybody does, right? Am I the only one still attempting my resolutions? I can't be, right? This is what the world does: is we make promises to ourselves on January 1st, and we hold on to them until December 31st.
I still think I'm doing pretty good metaphors. Better
Yeah.
metaphors, number one New Year's resolution.
Well, I had three, and one of them was, of course, that I was going to become a better person, and that has not happened yet. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. The second was that I was going to create an incredible new Bloody Mary recipe, and I am working hard on that one every day. I'm experimenting with Worcestershire sauce right now. I don't know if that's the direction I'm going to keep going in. But to putting that aside, the last thing was I am going to become a famous limericist. Limericist. I am going to become a famous limericist. This has been the plan all along. I promise you, it has. And so I want to read you a couple of inspirational ones that I've been looking at, and I was hoping you could maybe help me dissect them a bit and tell me what's going on in them. Here we go. We're gonna start with this one. There was a young sailor named Bates who danced the fandango on skates, but a fall on his cutlass has rendered him nutless and practically useless on dates. Now, I have some questions about this one. Now, here's the thing. I feel like most limericks should be sea-based. Am I wrong about that? Like I feel like there should be like a sea shantiness to limericks. I don't know. Am I wrong in that?
I mean, I understand where you would think that, but I don't believe it's exclusively. I mean, a limerick is specifically the AABBA rhyme structure. That's
Okay.
all you need for it to be a limerick.
Okay.
But sailors, they used to trade limericks while they were working the rigging on the ships.
So maybe that's right. Maybe that's what it is. Is maybe it's my ancestral like brain, my lizard brain is like really digging into these limericks and just being like, oh, but they should be about boats though. You should do boats. Okay, so I don't really necessarily have to focus on boats, and that's good to know. So now my next thing is like, this is clearly a newer limerick, right? Like fandango, like nutless. Like nutless is seems like a weird thing to have, right? I don't know. I feel like limericks should also be in kind of like a particular language. I don't know.
Okay, well, so the one that we all know, right? The limerick that introduces you to limericks is there once was a man from Nantucket whose
Oh, I don't believe
dick
I've
was
heard
so long he could suck it.
Oh my.
He said with a grin as he wiped off his chin, if my ear were a pussy, I'd fuck it. That's not really old school language.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one before. That's new to me. Here's one that I like. This is one from my youth. Here we go. There was a young girl named Ann Hauser who swore that no man could surprise her, but Paps took a chance, found a schlitz in her pants, and now she is sad but wiser.
I don't like that one.
See now I like that one.
That's
because
not
on
very
top of
good.
being a limerick, it's a pun. I like that one.
Oh, this was fun like 5 minutes ago.
All right. So you don't like them. You don't like them to be a little. I think your problem with that one is that it's shilling something, right? And a limerick should not be an ad, right? It should come from the heart. So I have found one that I really think speaks to me, and we're gonna really have to really break this one down specifically because you'll hear it. All right. A mathematician named Hall has a hexahedronical ball. and the cube of its weight times his pecker plus 8 is his phone number. Give him a call.
I like that one. That
I
was
like
pretty
that
good.
one. It's all new language, so I was a little nervous about that one, but I like that one. I think that I'm really gonna focus on some of this like new wave literacy. I think like hexahedronical is like I can't even get it out of my mouth. Never
No, that
mind
I
say
can't believe you said the word twice now.
I know. Well, what's great about that is like a limerick really is like kind of like an impressive thing. Somebody that can just like spout those, right? So imagine if not only am I being all limerickal as I walk around talking, I do plan on having a costume of some kind too that we'll have to talk about in the future. But the fact that I could then spout out words like mathematician named Hall has a hexahedronical ball. Oh my God! See, like I need to work on that. There's like an effort behind that that you just don't hear in these other ones. This is what I do with my life now, man. uh, so, Devin,
Yes.
that brings us pretty close to the end of this show. Is there any housekeeping we need to do before we close up
Do
today?
we really have housekeeping that I've forgotten?
No, 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 no. I'm
Okay.
asking
All
if
right.
we
So
have any.
so here's something. We talked about David Ogden Stiers died, and that sucked, and we were all sad about it. But it made me want to watch Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place Tuesdays at 8 on ABC, and I went out and I found that Shout Factory released it on DVD, and I finally bit the bullet and bought the DVD set. So I now own all 81 episodes of Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place, and I made sure to watch all of the David Ogden Stier episodes and make like a note of the movies that he references being a part of.
Okay, all right.
And so I have that all available, and I don't really want to like throw it in at the end. I want it to be like a fun moment. But the one in the 12th episode, he is convinced he is Jim Carrey's character from Liar Liar.
Excellent.
So it's great because it's all about like keeping things from everybody and he has to tell the truth. And he does this fantastic thing. But then I have a little notepad on my phone where I've been recording the episodes and what character he is.
Okay.
So I wrote down the character's name. What is Jim Carrey's character's name in Liar Liar, Sejohn?
Andy?
No, it's not Andy. Nice
Oh,
try, though.
I thought it was. No, I don't know. What is
Okay,
his name?
it's Fletcher Reed.
Fletcher.
Fletcher Reed is his name. Now, here is the question I have for you, and there is no money on the line, nothing is at stake. How do you think he spells his last name, Reed?
Reid.
Right? That's what I thought. Nope. It is Reede.
Rede. Fletcher Rede.
Yeah, Fletcher Reed. Like he's like Dwayne Reed is his brother. That's all I
Oh
could think.
God. Fantastic. Oh man.
So that's the last thing. I think that's really only the housekeeping thing. Sejohn is beating me in the Super Mario Odyssey challenge. But other than that, this is what negativity can be like. The first half hour of the show is what negativity can look like. So don't be negative because it sucks and it just compounds upon itself until
No,
you're
and
in
you
a
know what?
cocoon of darkness.
Let me throw this in there as a happy note at the end. Let me really quickly, and I bet you can do this too, Devin. But really quickly, throw out a representation of a healthy LGBTQ relationship on television right now or movie. My favorite, I have to say, Supergirl. Check out Supergirl. Alex Danvers is one of those really great created characters that the Arrowverse has given us as far as DC goes. So like Thea on Arrow and stuff like that. But Alex Danvers is probably the reason to watch that show. And season 2 especially gives you one good, really healthy relationship with involving her that continues to this day.
I already gave mine that episode of The Mick where Jimmy was forced to deal with the homosexual experiences he had when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I know that's not Jimmy and Doug are not a gay couple, but I think that seeing a healthy relationship between a heterosexual and a homosexual also goes a real long way in showing that like not every heterosexual hates gay people.
Yeah,
And sometimes
hey,
if there
we are
is
different and
a
we can all be.
reaction, it comes
Yeah.
from somewhere, and seek first to understand in any situation, and that was a great example of that. And also, and I know it's Will and Grace, and I know Will and Grace invites in all of its own problems like with its use of stereotypes sometimes. But in the very third episode of this newest season of Will and Grace, it looked like they were going to bring Will and Jack together as a couple, and that made me feel dirty. Like, I'm like, no, they're clearly friends. Do not ruin what this show has been. And in the very last episode, they address that head on, and they're like, no, it's never going to happen, because when we met, we could have been lovers or we could have been friends forever. And I think we made the right decision. And that was just like a very healthy moment to me. And I'm like, and thanks for correcting what looked like a huge misstep very early on in this season.
Yeah, very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, so just throwing that stuff out there. Like, be positive, love everybody, and there you go. There are good things out there for people.
Yes. Sorry, Jeopardy. You failed tonight, though. And if you have a problem with my outlook on Jeopardy, contact me on Twitter at Devon D. Decker.
And if you want to talk to me about Alan Trebek's lack of mustache that I've never gotten over, please contact me at Siege vs. the World.
All right, so until next time, thank you for listening still, getting engrossed in the thrill, but all things must end, and until we meet again, I'll throw for an ending from Will.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devon Decker and Sejohn Serwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.